Hi, my name is Hugo Ortega from the Uber Tablet Blog Australia. Welcome back. Today I wanted to share with you my latest ultramobile PC experience. Now I've been full-time ultramobile PC, no other computer, as my only computer since before Christmas. And this has changed just recently. I won't get into that today, I'll get into that in another post, but it has changed recently. Now what I wanted to share with you is my experience as an ultramobile PC user full-time for over 2 months and why it is I chose the device I chose. Now as you can probably guess, I've got the Samsung Q1 in front of me and that is the device I ended up choosing. Now there's obvious shortcomings, and one of my biggest shortcomings that I didn't like was the processor. So it just wasn't powerful enough for me to do what I do every day, but I do quite a lot during the day, so multitasking was not fantastic. But I still managed to survive. It was just like working on a computer a couple of years back, however. Now, let's take a closer look as to why I chose this computer. There's a couple of reasons, and one of the reasons is the hotkeys. The second reason is battery life. Now that'll sound a bit weird to some of you out there, but the second reason is battery life, and I'll explain why. The third reason is portability, and for portability I've got a very clever keyboard solution that I used, and I'll explain why. And the last reason would be just its sheer versatility and flexibility. So let's get into the first one, which is hotkeys, and I won't spend much time on this. But this is the Samsung Q1 Ultramobile PC, and many of you have seen it. It's quite a small handheld portable notebook computer, in that it is a tablet PC and a notebook PC running Windows XP. As I rotate around, there's a simple stand. The simple stand has 2 modes, so that sort of 60-degree view mode, and also a little semi-stand there that's sort of a 130-degree view type mode staring back at me. Now the hotkeys that I liked about this device, and why I ended up using it a little more frequently than I use other ultramobile PCs, is this little array here. There's 4 programmable hotkeys that are named U1, U2, U3, U4. Now the way I use those is I reprogram them. Now U2 at the bottom I actually programmed to be my Control Tab button. Now for those of you that haven't experienced Control Tab, just try it on your keyboard now. Control Tab will allow you to do many things within an opened application. So if I, for example, the number one application that we're all using, I guess, on a daily basis is Internet Explorer. And Internet Explorer 7, for those of you that have upgraded, allows for you to run through and use tabs for separate pages. So on your taskbar now, one application open, which is Internet Explorer, can have several pages open at the same time. Quite clever. Now when I have my Internet Explorer page open with lots of tabs open, Control Tab allows me on this keyboard to actually flick through tab by tab without having to take my finger or my cursor. Now even better with a hotkey using Control Tab, I can now do that with one thumb. So instantly I've increased my productivity, and I very much like that about this device. Secondly, I used U2, which you saw as a button there, not the music group, but the button U2, to act as my Alt Tab. Now Alt Tab, if you try that, will just display which applications you have open at this very moment in time. Now the reason that's a big benefit is that with my thumb now, I can actually flick, 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 flick through all the programs I've got open at that given moment. And as I mentioned before, I love multitasking, and with the Celeron processor, it's kind of tough, but I still managed to do it, although I just had to click and wait a second, then let it open. But having U2 as my programmable Alt Tab, it meant that I can now flick through and multitask. So with a thumb, I can flick back to Internet Explorer, and with the same thumb I can move to my other hotkey and flick through the separate tabs in my Internet Explorer page. So quite clever, one of the reasons why I chose this device. Now second reason is battery life. Now on the back we've got the standard 3-cell, which you can see here. Now the 3-cell ships with the device, And with all the Q1 batteries, what you've got is this little button that allows you to illuminate a set of LEDs telling you how much battery life you've got left. Obviously a fantastic feature. Now, one of the negativities about ultramobile PC out of the shelf for most people was the fact that battery life was a bit poor, about 2.5 hours. And the Q1 is quite good. It does achieve real Q1 2.5 hours. Now, what I chose to use, which helped me a lot in my day, was the 6 cell. Now the 6 cell has the same little lovely LED array letting me know how much battery I've got left, and I've charged my batteries to the maximum. But one key feature for you to know is that obviously when you go from a 3 cell to a 6 cell, you're going to add weight and you're going to add depth to the device. Now Samsung was quite clever in that they added height to the device. So you can see it's almost double there, the overall height of the Q1 device. Now they didn't go for extra thickness or bulkiness. Now there is an aftermarket 6 cell battery for this device, but I really don't like it in that it's quite bulky. This just added a little bit of depth. So let's click in our 6 cell battery. And you saw that the 3 cell was sort of flush at the bottom there. Now when we click in our 6 cell, and I'll just start booting up the device. When we click in our 6 cell, there is a little bit of, well, what we term probably a little bit more than a finger's thickness of extra depth that goes into the Q1. So let's just try again. Never had that noise before. Okay, so that adds a little bit of depth there to the Q1, but it adds obviously a lot of battery life. Now what I've got that I really like about battery consumption on this device is a power bank. Now most of you may have not seen the power bank, but I wanted to show it to you because it makes a lot of sense. The power bank is an extra carry round battery. Now apart from a battery, it actually acts as an AC adapter too. So let's have a closer look. There's your Q1, there's the power bank. It's about 2/3 the size of the actual device. So obviously quite negative in that it is bulky. But if we look at the actual advantages of this device, let's see if we like it or not. The 6 cell should give me true 4 to 4.5 hours out of a Samsung Q1, and I've found that it actually does do that. The power bank gives me 9 hours plus. Now I haven't bothered testing these as far as longevity, but I can tell you on a full 8-hour working day when I'm out on the road, this has given me the full 8 hours of work. Now let me explain to me what I found as a hidden benefit, which many of you may not have realized. If I'm working with my 6 cell battery and my battery has started to go low, normally what I'd plug in is the power bank to attach an external power battery source, and it would allow me to finish my work. But now what I'd have to do is walk around with the 6 cell that's now drained but in there, quite futile, and my power bank. With the Samsung battery system that this is, you don't have to do that, which I quite like. Now what I've learned to do is I plug in my power bank before I need it. Why? Because it actually is recognized by the Q1 quite cleverly as a power source, not just a battery. So let's explain. If I plug this in, what it actually does is starts charging the 6 cell. So if I end up plugging this in while I'm in the car, going between meetings or just typing emails, what ends up happening is it charges my 6 cell, so I don't have to walk into the meeting with the power bank and the 6 cell. I can just walk back into a meeting with a charged up 6 cell. So if I charge my 3 cell, my 6 cell and my power bank, there's absolutely no reason why I shouldn't get a full day's work out of the Samsung Q1, and I love that. Now, not to jump ahead, but the ultramobile PC named the Samsung Q1B, which runs the VIA, as we say in Australia, or in America, VIA processor, is absolutely fantastic in that it's doubled battery life just by using the ultra low voltage processor that is the VIA C7M processor. So I've got a Q1B arriving next week, and I'll show you that and the difference with the power bank then.